You do not see the world the way it is. You see it through two circles of clouded glass, and everything past them is already dying. The long beak against your face is packed with dried roses, mint-crushed cloves. They told you the sweetness keeps death out of your lungs. It does not. It only keeps the smell of the dead from reaching all the way in. You breathe, and the leather breathes back warm and sour. You blink, and the glass fogs. And down in the street, a door is being marked with wet red paint. Behind that door, a family is still breathing. None of them will be by the time your week is finished. You do not wake gently in this city. You wake to a bell, not the bell that calls people to prayer. That bell has been silent for weeks. Now the priest who rang it is in the pit. Outside the walls, this bell is smaller and it moves. It rides on the cart that collects the dead. And when you hear it close, you already know the sound that comes next. The voice is tired, flat, almost bored. Bring out your dead. And somewhere a door opens, and something is dragged into the light. You sit up on a straw pallet that has not been changed in a month. The room smells of tallow smoke, stale sweat, sickness. Your hands ache before you even stand. You are not old. The work has aged you faster than years could before. You are fully awake. You check yourself. You press two fingers under your own arm. You press them into the soft hollow of your groin. You are feeling for a lump, a swelling, a heat that should not be there. Every morning begins this way now. Every morning you are your own first patient, and the day you find something is the day you stop counting mornings. The costume waits on its hook like a second body, a body without a face. You pull on the long waxed coat. First it falls to your ankles, heavy and stiff. The wax is meant to stop the bad air from soaking into the cloth. They believe the sickness travels in smells, in the foul breath of swamps and rot and open graves. They call it bad air. They are wrong about almost everything, but the coat does keep the fluids off your skin. And today, there will be fluids. Then the gloves. Then the wide black hat that marks what you are from 100 paces. Then the mask. You lift it in both hands. It is leather, boiled hard and shaped into a beak longer than your own hand. Two glass discs for the eyes. Inside the beak, a nest of dried flowers and herbs, and a small square of cloth soaked in vinegar. You fit it over your face, and the straps bite behind your head, and the world goes small and yellow, and close your own breath surrounds you. Now you will not smell fresh air again until dark. Last you take up the bag inside it, the tools of a trade that heals no one. Blade for cutting the swellings, a bowl for catching blood-dried toads, wrapped in cloth, a pouch of powdered herbs you will burn beside the beds, a jar of points and lancets that have touched more dying men than you can count. You do not clean them. No one has told you to clean them. No one in this century knows that the blade itself carries death from one bed to the next. You think you are fighting the sickness. Half the time, you are the one delivering it. There is a mirror by the door cracked, filmed with grime, and you catch yourself in it. Before you leave, you do not look like a man anymore. You look like a great black bird that has learned to walk upright. The shape is meant to frighten the sickness away. The truth is, it only frightens the children, and there are still children in this city for now. You step outside and the street is wrong. There should be noise here. There should be vendors, carts, children, dogs, the ordinary friction of a living town. Instead, there is a silence that has weight, a silence you can feel pressing on the glass in front of your eyes. The doors tell the story. 1 in every 3 is marked a rough red cross, a scrawl of paint, a plank nailed across the frame. Some have a single word chalked beside them. Lord, have mercy upon us. Inside those houses, whole families are shut in together. The sick and the healthy locked behind the same door, because the men who rule this place decided it was easier to seal the living with the dying than to sort them. If one of you is infected, all of you are condemned. This is not medicine, this is arithmetic. You pass a door being sealed as you walk. 2 watchmen hold a plank across the frame, while a third drives the nails from inside. A hand reaches through the last gap. A woman's hand. She is not sick. You can hear it in her voice. Steady and clear, and rising into panic. Her husband took the fever 2 nights ago. That is enough. The rule does not ask who is well and who is dying. The rule asks only which house holds the sickness, and then it closes that house like a fist. She will be fed through a hatch if she is lucky. Water passed on a long pole. She will watch her family die, 1 room away, and she will wait to learn whether the air in that house has already chosen her. The watchmen do not look at her while they work. They have learned not to. A man cannot nail a door on a living woman, and also meet her eyes. One or the other has to go, and it is never the nails. Further on, an old woman moves door to door ahead of the carts. She is a searcher. The city pays her a few coins to enter the marked houses and name the cause of each body, plague or fever or flux or age. She is old and poor, and already half dead herself, which is exactly why they chose her. Her life is cheap enough to spend on the. She carries a white stick, so everyone knows to keep away from her. She has not been touched by another human hand in months. This is what the sickness does, even to the ones it spares. It makes lepers of the living. You walk toward the first house on your list. The family paid for you in advance. They scraped together coins they could not spare, not because they think you can cure anything by now. Everyone knows the beaked men do not cure. They pay you because you are the only person left who will step through their door. The neighbors will not come. The priest is dead. You are what remains when everyone else has run. Inside, the air is thick, even through the beak. The herbs do nothing against this. A woman lies on the bed, and you do not need to touch her to read the ending. Her fever has burned 3 days under her arm. The swelling has grown to the size of a fist, black at the center where the flesh has died. Her fingers have gone dark at the tips. The blood beneath her skin has turned to bruise across her whole body. This is where the sickness gets its darkest name. The Black Death is not a poet's phrase. It is a description. You are looking at it. You carry a wooden cane and you use it. Now you do not touch her with your hands. You lift the blanket with the tip of the cane. You point rather than hold. The cane keeps a body's length between you and the thing that is killing her. It is the most honest tool you own. Everything else in your bag is theater. You do what the beaked men do. You press the swelling to draw the poison out. You cut it to let it drain. You place dried toads on the black skin. Because someone once wrote that a toad pulls venom from flesh, you bleed her from the arm to balance the humors. None of it works. None of it has ever worked. You are not here to save her. You are here so that she does not die, with no human face in the room, even if that face is made of leather and glass. And it is fast. That is the part the paintings never show. A man can wake well and be dead before the next sunrise. The swellings rise in a single day. The fever climbs. The mind goes loose. Some cough, blood, and drown from the inside. In a matter of hours, this thing does not lay siege. It kicks the door in. You have seen a household of 6 sit down to a meal and buried 5 of them before the week turned. The empty chair does not stay empty long enough to mourn grief. Here has no time to finish. You feel one loss, and the next is already knocking. And after enough of them, you stop feeling the way a hand stops feeling. After too long in cold water, the numbness is not cruelty. The numbness is the only way a man stays standing in a place like this. If you think the sick are the worst thing you will see today, wait until the sun climbs higher and the carts come out. Wait until you see where all these bodies go. Because the dying is only the beginning of the work. The disposing is what breaks the men who last too long. Stay with me. By midday, the streets belong to the carts. They move slow, pulled by men who wrap rags across their own faces. The corpse bearers in some cities, they are prisoners, promised freedom for the work. In others, they are the desperate, the drunk, the men with nothing left to lose. They earn good coin, because almost no one else will touch the dead, and coin still buys bread, even in a city, eating itself alive. You follow one cart to the edge of the walls, and you see the place the city does not speak about. The pit, it is wider than a house and deeper than 3 men, and it is not empty. The bodies go in layered, like goods in a warehouse. A row of the dead, then a pale dusting of quicklime, then earth, then another row. The lime burns the flesh faster and cuts the smell, but nothing cuts it enough. Children lie beside strangers, a mother you cannot match to any child. The rich are not here, the rich are somewhere else. Even now, even in this, the sorting continues. Because here is the thing, no one wants to say aloud, this sickness did not fall on everyone the same. When the first doors were marked, the wealthy did not stay to be sealed in. They had somewhere to go. Country houses, clean estates, villages, far from the crowded stink of the town. They packed documents, jewelry, cash box, and they rode out through gates the poor were forbidden to leave. The plague does not care about a man's name, but a man's name decides whether he can run from it. The rich did not survive because God favored them. They survived because they had walls between themselves and everyone else. Distance was the only real medicine in this entire century, and only money could buy distance. You, the beaked man, live in the space between paid enough to eat, never paid enough to leave. If you had woken up in this city with no name worth saving, and no coin to run, which would have reached you first? The sickness itself, or the fear of your own neighbors? Tell me down in the comments. And the city itself has stopped, not slowed, stopped. The mill does not turn because the miller is in the pit. The field outside the walls stands ripe and rotting because no one is left to bring it in. Bread has become a rumor. A loaf that cost a coin last spring now costs a week of coins. If you can find it at all, the market square where the whole town once shouted and haggled and stole is empty, but for a single dog nosing at something. Work has not paused for the plague. Work has died with the workers, and the strange, cruel truth of it is that the ones who live through this will inherit a world begging for hands. Wages will climb the poor. Who survive will suddenly be worth more than they have ever been, because a laborer is only cheap. While there are many of him, the plague is about to make men rare. But that reckoning is for survivors, and you do not yet know if you are one. You pass a child sitting alone on a step no more than 5 years old, still and quiet in the way children never are. You slow your walk. You do not know if the stillness is grief or fever. You do not know if the house behind is empty or sealed. And here is the cruelty of the beak. You cannot comfort a child through a mask of leather. And glass, you cannot lift it away without breathing the air that killed its family. So you do the only thing the costume allows. You leave a piece of bread on the step with the tip of your cane, and you walk on, and you carry the shape of that child behind your eyes for the rest of the day. Some of what this work takes from you is not your body. Some of it is the part that could still look away and pretend. The afternoon brings the other sickness, the one that lives in the mind. A procession comes down the main road, men stripped to the waist, beating their own backs with knotted whips. Blood runs down their spines, and they sing as it runs. They believe the plague is punishment. They believe if they suffer loudly enough, heaven will call it even. They whip themselves through town after town, and they carry the sickness with them from door to door as they go, faith moving faster than the cart ever could. And where there is fear, there is always the hunt for a face to blame. A well was poisoned, they say. A stranger did it, they say. A foreigner, an outsider, a people who pray differently. Mobs form in the same streets that stand empty of everything else, and men who could not save a single sick child find the strength to burn a neighbor. They kill the cats, they kill the dogs. They do not know the killers are already among them. Small and quiet in the walls, riding on the rats. The more animals they slaughter, the more the rats multiply. They are fighting the plague by feeding it. Fear makes people busy. It almost never makes them right. And here is the cruelest joke. The beak never understood. The enemy was never in the air. It was never in the smell. The swamp, the breath of the dead. It was down at the height of your ankles, the whole time in the fur of the rats. No one thought to fear, in the tiny fleas that rode them from house to house, and bit the living in their sleep. The whole city looked up and burned flowers against the sky, while the real killer crawled quiet along the floorboards below you. Point your long beak at the bad air, and death moves past your feet unseen. The mask faces exactly the wrong direction, and it will keep facing the wrong way for 300 more years. If the real version of this hits harder than anything they ever taught you in a classroom, leave a like. It drags this side of history in front of people who were only ever shown the clean one. And fear is the best market there has ever been. On a corner, a man sells cures from a tray, dried blood of a toad, powdered horn, ground fine gold flakes to swallow, a paste of treacle and old snake meat, aged for years, vinegar to press against the swellings, letters of protection blessed and stamped and worth exactly the paper he sells, emeralds crushed to dust for the ones who can still pay in stones. He sells nothing at all, and he sells it well, and the people buy. Of course they buy. When a man is drowning, he will grab the blade of a sword. If that is what floats past, the seller will be dead within the month, like everyone else. But for now, his tray is the busiest thing in the city, because there is one thing the plague creates, faster than corpses, and that is buyers desperate enough to believe. You have watched a rich merchant swallow gold to save himself. You have watched a mother trade her wedding ring for a folded paper prayer, and you, the beaked man, say nothing. Because your own bag of toads and blades is only the same lie wearing an official face. The difference between you and the man on the corner is that someone gave you a costume and told the city to trust it. You see all of this through two small circles of glass. The glass keeps fogging with your breath, so the whole day comes to you half hidden, a smear of red, a shape of smoke, a mouth open in grief. You cannot hear clearly. The mask that was meant to protect you also seals you off from the world. You move through the worst day imaginable, and you experience it at a distance, like a man watching his own life through a keyhole. And the mask does not even work. That is the part they will forget in the centuries that follow. The beak, the herbs, the vinegar, the long coat. None of it stops the sickness. The men who wear this costume die at the same rate as the men who dig the pits. You have buried 3 others who wore a beak like yours. This year alone, you were hired to replace a dead man. Someone is already being measured to replace you. The outfit is not armor. It is a uniform, and a uniform only tells the world what you are, while it waits for you to fall. If you want to keep seeing the past, the way it actually smelled and sounded and rotted, not the clean marble statue version they handed you in school, follow this channel and stay on the walking side of the cart. Evening comes, and the city lights its fires. Not for warmth, they burn herbs and wood, and anything foul at the crossroads, because they still believe the smoke cleans the air. So the streets fill with a haze that stings. Even behind the glass, the whole town glows a dull, sick orange. And through it, the cart still moves. The bell still rings. Bring out your dead, and the voice is even more tired than it was at dawn. You walk home through the smoke, past the marked doors, past a house where the chalk still reads, "Lord have mercy," and no sound comes from inside anymore. The silence, there is a different silence. Now it is finished. You reach your room and you take off the mask, and this is the worst moment of the day, because the smell of the leather stays in your nose long after the beak is on its hook. The vinegar, the dead flowers, the faint rot that has soaked into the seams. You breathe your own free air at last. And it is not free, it is haunted by everything. The beak held all day. You lie down on the unchanged straw, and before you sleep, you do it again. 2 fingers under the arm, 2 fingers into the groin, feeling for the lump that will end you tonight. There is nothing tonight. You are still the one who walks and not the one who is carried. That is all survival means. In this city, one more night on the walking side of the cart. You do not pray for a cure. No one who has seen the pit still believes in cures. You pray for something smaller. You pray to wake tomorrow and find the hollow under your arm still cool. You pray the fever chooses a different door, And you know as you pray it, that everyone behind every marked door in this city prayed exactly the same thing last night, and the cart came for them anyway. You close your eyes, and you still see it, the long beak in every dream, now the shape you have become. And here is the ending. No one tells you. The sickness will pass eventually, not because anyone cured it. It will burn through the bodies it can reach, and then it will go quiet for a while. The pits will be covered over, grass will grow where the lime was, and the beaked man will slip out of the world and into story. Centuries from now, people will wear this mask for fun. They will paint it gold and hang it in shop windows. They will pull it on at parties and carnivals and laugh behind the long curved beak. A costume, a decoration, a clever little piece of the past, and not one of them will remember what it was. That it was the last face that behind those two clouded circles of glass, a real man once looked out at a real family, shut behind a red door, and that for thousands of people in the worst season the world had ever known, this leather beak, stuffed with dead flowers, was the final human thing they ever saw.